This approach of creating a 2D integer array dynamically is proposed to alleviate the problem what we have faced in the previous example. In the previous example, we have created a 2D integer array but with a constraint on number of rows, that is 10. That is, at most 10 rows our 2D integer array can have. Now in this problem we want to relax it. How can we achieve it? That is by creating the memory required for the integer pointer array by calling the malloc. Thus, we can get rid of that problem. That is, the pointer array, whichever is required, for that memory will be allocated by us by calling malloc. Whatever number of rows are there, that many addresses we want to store in this pointer array. Thus, we create a pointer array with that many elements, and that array's first element address, that is address of a pointer variable, that will be assigned to a pointer to pointer type of variable A. Thus, A is the pointer to a 1D array of pointers. The remaining things will be exactly same. That is, the 2D array will be created row by row by calling malloc repeatedly, and each row's address is stored in the dynamically created pointer array. Except this, the remaining everything is same in this procedure. M and N are read. We assume that M and N values are 4 and 5. Thus, first we create a integer pointer array by calling the malloc function such that it contains memory sufficient to store 4 addresses. After creating the memory for the pointer array, memory for our 2D integer array will be created row by row. When I value becomes 0, first row will be created such that it contains 5 integers, and the starting address of that will be stored in the first element of this pointer array. Remember, star of a plus I is same as a of I. Thus, the previous notation and this notation will be same. A is a pointer to the first element of the pointer array. In that, we are trying to store the address of the first row. When I value becomes 1, second row of our 2D integer array will be allocated. That row's first element address will be stored in second element of the pointer array. When I value is 2, third row is created dynamically. Its base address is stored in the third element of the pointer array. When I value is 3, fourth row of our 2D integer array will be allocated by malloc. Its base address is stored in the fourth element of the array. Like this, each row is created as usual. Their base addresses are stored in the pointer array. Remember, A is the pointer to the pointer array. That is nothing but pointer to the first element of the pointer array. A plus 1, A plus 2, A plus 3, they are the pointers to the next elements of this pointer array. In this array, what did we store? Addresses of the base elements of the 2D array. That is, each row address we have stored. A of I or star of A plus I indicates ith row's first element address. If I add j, that becomes ith row jth column element address of our 2D array. Star of A plus I plus j, that is the address of the ith row jth column element of our 2D array. If we apply indirection operator, that is, if we put star before this, that becomes ith row jth column element value. Of course, star of A of I plus j also indicate the same. Even A of ij also one can use. These are the notations while referring ith row jth column element of the dynamic array whatever we have created. With the help of these two for loops, we can read data into the 2D integer array. Remember, star of A plus I plus j, that is the address of ith row jth column element value, that is supplied to the scanf function. Thus, whatever user enters, that will be stored in that memory location. With the help of these two for loops, we can access the 2D array and traverse row by row and each element by element in each row. Then we can print the elements of the 2D array. Remember, in this approach, we have got flexibility of creating a 2D array dynamically such that it is having any number of rows and any number of columns. However, one important aspect you people have to remember is, here our 2D arrays, each row's base addresses are stored in the pointer array. That pointer array first element address is the A. A is the most important thing. This type of array representation is known as pointer to pointer representation of the 2D array. In order to access any element of any row, we have to have that row's base address. However, each row's base addresses are available in this pointer array. Unless we know the base address of this pointer array, we cannot access any row's base address. Thus, this A is the most important thing. And one more thing is, by chance, if we call a free function and send A as an argument, then the memory which is allocated for the pointer array, that will be deallocated, leading to dangling memory situation. That is, the 2D array memory is still available, but we cannot access it. Why? The memory which is used to store the base addresses of each row, that is now freed, and there is no way to access the base addresses of the rows. Thus, if we wanted to deallocate the memory of this 2D integer array, first we have to deallocate each row, that is memory allocated for each row, by sending their base addresses to the free function, and then we have to call the free A function. Then only we are not going to have a smooth disposal of the memory. This approach of creating